Hey everybody, welcome back. If you've been following my work, then you know my last redesign project was redesigning the Besaid Island in the Machialania Woods from Final Fantasy X in Unreal Engine 5. The response to that video was incredible. I received a ton of requests to keep redesigning other levels from Final Fantasy X, and most of those requests wanted me to remake Blitzball. So today I'm excited to share my journey of redesigning Blitzball in Unreal Engine 5. Let's jump in. Blitzball holds a special place in my heart, but it's also one of those games that people either love or hate. When I first played Final Fantasy X over 20 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing when it came to Blitzball. There were so many rules, and the tutorial included a lot of reading that I wasn't interested in taking the time to learn the game. Fast forward to today, dozens of playthroughs later, and well, I still don't really know the rules, but that's okay. That did not stop me from taking on this challenge, but I did make sure to go through the tutorial and take notes so I was prepared as possible for this challenge. For those of you who haven't played Final Fantasy X or maybe don't know what Blitzball is, it's essentially an underwater soccer game. You swim around in a giant sphere of water trying to get possession of the ball and score in your opponent's goal. It's a mix of strategy and action with lots of stats determining the outcome of the in-game scenarios. Recreating this in Unreal Engine presented a new challenge for me, especially since my previous redesign didn't require me to make any gameplay mechanics beyond basic movement. My vision for this project was to simplify the game's mechanics and put more of a modern spin on Blitzball. I wanted to remove the stat-heavy structure from the game and make it more of a free-flowing sports game. So I started my project by building the animation blueprint, focusing on the swimming mechanics. Since the players are underwater 100% of the time, I needed to create a smooth and responsive swimming animation blueprint. I also added a stamina system, that way you could swim faster and it would drain your stamina, and then it would replenish if you're swimming at a normal pace. Next, I moved on to creating the Blitzball itself. This wasn't just any ball, I needed it to be throwable and catchable by both teammates and opponents, and I needed the physics to act as if it were underwater. I spent a lot of time tweaking the ball's logic to get it just right. I also made sure the camera followed the ball until it was caught, scored, or went out of bounds. Then came the challenge of building the teammate characters. I wanted them to catch the ball when it was in range and for the player to be able to control whichever teammate had the ball. This required a system where control and the ball could be passed between any player on the team, including the original player character. To add some realism, I also created a roaming behavior so teammates would swim around naturally when not in control of the ball. Creating the opposing team was a whole other challenge. I programmed the AI to chase down the player, tackle them, and steal the ball. I also wanted the opposing team to be able to intercept passes if they were in the right position. With the basics in place, I then focused on implementing the scoring system and designing the goalies. Each team had a goal, and I built a UI that tracked the score. The goalies were programmed to catch the ball if it came within their reach and throw it back into play. Now that the gameplay was coming together, it was time to work on the visuals. I imported the Blitzball Stadium from Luca into Unreal Engine 5 and upscaled the textures to 4K. While the stadium itself serves mostly as a backdrop, I focused on enhancing the Blitzball sphere. I created a water material for the sphere, polished the textures, and added some emissive effects for the sphere markers. I also added a post-processing volume to try to capture that deep blue ambience from the original game. To add some life to the stadium, I made the audience move slightly during the game, and I added water effects inside the sphere to simulate the underwater environment. With the level design in place, I turned my attention to the UI and final touches. I updated the UI to include a mini-map with markers for teammates and enemies, and I worked on the tackling animations to make them smoother. For fun, I brought in the Ject model from the PlayStation 2 version of the game, even though I only had access to the low poly version. Hopefully it's not too noticeable underwater. Since I didn't have access to all of the original team models, I simplified things by using a single model for all of the teammates on both teams. Wanting to keep things fair for both teams, I thought long and hard about the one character within the Final Fantasy X universe that made sense. I wanted to use a character that represented the true meaning of the game, and one that without this character, the story just wouldn't be the same. So of course I went with the Rides the Shoe Puff guy. Seriously though, how do the Hypello not have a Blitzball team? They are humanoid frogs. They would be so overpowered and probably dominate every team. Finally, I worked on implementing a simplified stat system. I didn't want to overwhelm the gameplay with too many stats, so I focused on 4 key attributes: speed, power, tackle, and defend. These stats influence how players interact with the ball and each other, adding another layer of strategy to the game. And there you have it, Blitzball in Unreal Engine 5. This project was a lot of fun, and I'm thrilled with how it turned out. I wouldn't have done it without all of the support from my previous Final Fantasy X redesign video and the awesome suggestions from you all. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, don't forget to drop a like and leave a comment with your suggestion for the next level I should work on. Lastly, I decided to start a Patreon account. If you're interested at all in supporting me in the development of these videos, check out the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.